Hello, students. Welcome to Expert Guidance, and I welcome you to another important video and another important topic for your GCSE Maths, which is the decimal numbers. Now, in this video, we'll be looking over what are decimal numbers, how the place value works in them, how do you order the decimals, how do we add, subtract, multiply, and divide the decimals, how do you convert fractions, percentages, and decimals into each other, how to convert a recurring decimals to fractions, and some word problems. So let's begin. So you must have seen in your daily lives as well the numbers which looks like this. You have an integer part followed by a decimal point, and then you have the decimal part. So decimals are the numbers that are the part of the wholes, and fractions and percentages can be written as decimal. Now let's see how the place value works in them. Now, in the topic of whole numbers, we have covered the place value for the whole numbers. Here we'll be covering how the decimal place value works. Now, place value is the value of digit in a number. Now, if you look at this, if 467 is a whole number, you know that this is the ones place, the tens place, and the hundreds. Now, for the decimal numbers, for the integers, it works like ones, tens, and hundreds. But for the decimal, the number which is just to the right of the decimal has the tenth place, and it is 1/10. The number next to that is the hundredths, which is 1 over 100. And then the next is thousandth, which is 1 over 1,000. Now, if you need to write this into into a word, how will you write this? This will be read as 467 and 321,000. Now, 3.50 can be written as 3 as a whole number, and this is 50 over 100, so which is 50 hundredths. 3.215 is 3, and there are 3 decimal places, so it will be written as 215 over 1,000, so which is 3 and 215 thousandths. And 3.7 is 3 and 7 over 10, which is 7/10. Okay, so I hope this concept of place value is clear to you. The number which is next to the decimal will have the place value of tens. Okay, now you need to know this place value while ordering, adding. You need to make sure that the digits are in their same place values. Now let's say how do you order the decimal. To order the decimal, first write the digits underneath each other in the respective place value column, and then you start comparing from the left. So first compare the integers and then compare the decimal. Or the other thing is you can write them side by side, compare the integers first, then whichever integer is bigger, that particular decimal number will be a bigger number. But if the integers are same, then make sure that both of your decimal numbers have the same number of decimal places. If any digit is less, then add a zero to make them equal and then start comparing with the left. Let's take an example. If you have these numbers 25.321 and 225.321. Now we'll start comparing the integers. It is 25 here and 225 here, and since 225 is greater, this is a bigger number. In the second example, the integers are same, both are 25. Let's see the decimal. One is 47 and other is 321. So first of all, I'll add a 0 here so that I have 3 decimal places in both the numbers, and definitely 470 is greater than 321. So this is my bigger decimal. Okay, so I hope ordering, comparing the decimal is clear to you. Now let's use them to order the decimal. So this is a question you need to try. Compare these. You have to put a sign in these four, that which one is bigger. And then you have to compare these two decimals starting from smallest to largest. So you can pause the video, follow the strategy that I just explained, and have a go at that. Okay, so let's see. So 3.12 and 4.65, 4 is a bigger integer, so this is a bigger number. 23, 23, both integers are same, but 321 is greater than 221, so this is a bigger decimal number. 25.347, 25.44. The integer part is same, let's make the decimal the same. So 440 is greater than 347, so this is a bigger number. 625.25, 625.5, I'll put a 0 to make both to be the same, and then 50 is definitely greater than 25. Now we'll use the same strategy. So in the increasing order, we first have 2.21, 4.121, 4.231, 6.121, and 6.6. And for the next one, we'll have 25.21, 25.4, 27.21, 31.25, and 31.49. Okay, so I hope ordering the decimals is clear to you. Now let's go on to addition of decimal numbers. Now for addition of the decimal number, we do this method. Line up the decimal point, write the numbers underneath each other in their respective place values. So I put all my ones here, tens underneath each, the tens place and the hundreds place underneath each, and then if there's any digit that is missing, we can put up a 0 and then add the numbers. So 0 plus 4 is 4, 3 plus 1 is 4, 5 plus 4 is 9, 4 plus 0 is 4. So the answer is 49.4. Okay, so I hope this addition method is clear to you. Now have a go at these questions, pause the video, try them, and come back to check the answer. Okay, so 22.5 and 6.2, I'll line up my decimal point. 22.5, 6.2, now add by colon addition. So 7, 28.7 is the answer. 2.124 plus 4.2, align the decimal point. Next to the decimal point, there's 2 and 4. Just write them exactly like this. And then we can add zeros and then add them. So it is 6.324. And for the last one, it is 29.311. Okay, now let's do the subtraction. So subtraction works the same way. Line up the decimal, write the numbers underneath each in their respective place values, fill up the missing numbers by 0, and do column subtraction. So try this, 47.231 minus 25.1, and these two. Pause the video, try them, have a go, and then come back and check the answers. Okay, so let's look at the answer. So now we have the answers for this one. So 47.231 take away 25.1. We'll add up the zeros and start subtracting from the end. Okay, so this will 1 take away 0 is 1, 3, 1, 2, 2. So the answer is 22.131. For the next one, it's a carrying over. You'll start from the right and do the carryover. So you'll get 288.312, and for the last one, you'll get 2.75. So I hope subtraction of decimal is clear to you. Now let's move on to the multiplication. For multiplication, you write the numbers as normal whole numbers, multiply them, get the answer, and then see how many total number of decimal places you have. So for example, I have the number 4.25 and 3.1. I did a normal multiplication as if they were 425 and 31, and I got the answer. Then my first number had 2 decimal places and the next number had 1 decimal places. So total 3 decimal places. So after 3 decimal places, I put up a 2. Okay, so try these questions. For the first one, just multiply 4325 by 6, and there are just 3 decimal places in the question. We'll put 3 decimal places in the answer. For the next one, there are 2 decimal places and 1. So that is total. After 3 decimal places, we'll have a point. And for the last one, there are 2 decimal places and 2 decimal places. So it means after 4 decimal places from the right, we'll put up a point in the answer. Okay, so have a go at these ones. Pause the video and then check the answers. Okay, so for the first one, we'll have 4.325 times by 6. I'll do it by the column method. I'll get 25.950. And even I can skip the 0 or write the 0. So after 3 decimal places, I put up the point. 25.32 times 4.6. So after 3 decimal places, I've done normal column multiplication. And I've got 116.472 as an answer. And in the last one, after 4 decimal places, I have put up the point. Okay, so I hope how we have to multiply this is clear to you. Now, let us see how division. So for the division, if it is just a divisor, that is a number with which you divide, has no decimal point, just do the normal division by the bus stop method and make sure to line up the points. So after you have divided 5, you have dragged the 2. It is after decimal point. You'll place the decimal point in the answer. On the other hand, if your denominator is not a whole number and has a decimal point like 0.25, so it's better to convert it into a whole number. Now 0.25 have two decimal places. It means you multiply the top and the bottom by the 100. So you get 6250 over 25 and divide that. And then that will be the answer. So the best way is to make the divisor as a whole number and then do division by the bus stop method. Okay, and if you still get a remainder and the remainder is not 0, then you can put a decimal point and add up as many zeros to divide and make sure you line up the decimal in the answer. Okay, so I hope this division is clear to you. Now the next thing is you should know how to convert the fractions, decimals and percentages into each other. So if you have a fraction and you need to convert it into decimal, just divide the numerator and denominator. Or if you have a decimal and you need to convert them into fraction, then you see that how many places after there is a decimal point, you move the decimal point and then you put the zeros. Now, for percentages to decimal, you divide by 100, and for decimal to percentages, you multiply by 100. So let's take an example. First is convert these fractions to decimals, and then convert these decimals to percentages, and convert these percentages to fractions. Okay, now let's have a look. So 3 over 4, I'll do it by my bus stop method. So 3 doesn't go into 4, so it becomes a 0. Then I'll put a point and then I added a 0. So now I have 4. 4 times 7 is 28. And then I have 2 as a remainder. I'll drag a 0. And now I can divide 20 by 4, which is 5. So that becomes 0.75. 25 over 100. So it means that I have to divide it by 100. To divide by 100 is move the decimal 2 places to the left, so it is 0.25. Next is convert these decimals to percentages. So 0.5 multiplied by 100 gives 50%. 0.84 multiplied by 100 gives 84%. Next is convert these percentage to fractions. So 15% is 15 over 100, 25% is 25 over 100. So if suppose you have a fraction called a quarter, if you multiply it by 100, you get a percentage. If you divide by 100, you can get a fraction. Now percentage to decimal is you divide by 100, okay? And decimal to percentages, you multiply by 100, okay? So now if you have a decimal called 0.25, how do you convert it to fraction? You divide the numerator by denominator. So 25 over 100, you can divide it, or you can 0.25 is there. So what you can do, you can take away the decimal point and it will become 25 over 100, and then you simplify it and that gives you 1/4. So I hope how to convert fractions, decimal and percentages is clear to you. Now let's come to a very important topic, which is converting the recurring decimals to fractions. Now let's see how we have to do this question. So if you have just a one recurring digit and that too just after the decimal point, then you put that particular number equals x and then just see how many digits are recurring. If there's one digit, then you multiply by 10. If there are two digits after decimal point that are recurring, then you multiply by 100. If there are three, then you multiply by 1000. In this case, there's one digit, so I have multiplied by 10. So I got 10x equals 7.77. Now if I take away the two equations, then my recurring will get subtracted. So 10 take away x is 9x, 7.77 take away 0.77 is 7, so the answer will be 7.9. Now here I have a second example where the recurring digits are 2, but before that there is one number which is not recurring. So first I'll make that equal to x and multiply this so that my non-repeating digit, it's come before the decimal point. And since my non-repeating digit is just at the tens place, I multiplied by 10. So So I'll get 10x at 13.5959. Now I have all my recurring digits. Now there are two decimal recurring, so I now multiply this 10 by 100. So I get 1000x equals 1359.595959. Now I'll take away these two equations so that my recurring get cancelled. So 1000x take away 10x, and these two numbers gives me 990x over 1346. So x becomes 1346 over 990. Okay, so I hope how to convert the recurring to fractions is clear to you. Now let's see a fraction word problem. Now this is a rate list which is given to you, and the tea costs 2.25, so it's a decimal word problem. The tea costs 2.25, coffee costs 2.50, bread costs 5.25, sandwich costs 8.35. Now Joan has purchased 1 tea, 2 coffee, and 3 bread and 1 sandwich. You need to work out the total bill. If he gave $100, how much change he'll get, and if he has $50, how much breads can he purchase? Now let's see this decimal word problems working. So if you get 1 tea, then it's $2.25. 2 coffees, 3.5 times 2, which is 7. 3 bread is 5.25 times 3, which is 15.75. Sandwich is 8.35. You add them all up and you get 33.35 as his total bill. How much change if you'll get if you have $100? You take from 100, go to 3.35 by normal column subtraction, and you get 66.65. And for the last question, if he has $50, okay, and he has to purchase a bread, then how many he can purchase? So if you do 50 divided by 5.25, remember I told you that the bottom number should be a whole number. So what you do, you convert it into a whole number by multiplying the top and the bottom by 100. So now we get 5,000, and then we divide it by 525, and I get 9.5, which means that you can get 9 breads. Okay, so I hope these decimal word problems is clear to you. So that's all you need to know in the decimal. It's very important to cross-check your specification and make sure that everything in this topic you have covered. And do not forget to do the exam questions on this topic. I have shared the link in the description box below with the links to the questions that you can try just for this topic. If you like this video, then do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also click on the bell icon so that you can get notified whenever I'll put up a new video. And you can follow me on Instagram at expert guidance, or follow my hashtag at hashtag #MaimaGaroya. And while doing this topic, if you have any queries, just get back onto our website where there's a 24/7 chat support. And you can also join my free Facebook group. It says Get A Stars in GCSEs and A-Level in Science and Maths, where you can get daily study tips, daily study advice, and you can also post your queries and get instant replies. Okay, so I'll see you next in my next video. Till then, happy revising.